Pablo Picasso. You know the name, right? It's legendary. But he wasn't just some painter. He was a total force of nature who completely reshaped what art even meant in the 20th century. Behind that iconic name and those multi-million-dollar paintings, though, was a lifetime of just relentless dedication. So, let's get into it and really uncover the story of the man behind the masterpieces.
So, I want to start with a question for you. How long do you think it takes to create something truly priceless? A minute? Maybe an hour? A whole lifetime? This was a question Picasso himself once had to answer. And his response? Well, it tells you everything you need to know about what genius really is. So the story goes, a woman spots Picasso in a cafe and watches him sketch this incredible drawing in just over a minute. She's blown away and asks him how much it costs. He names this absolutely massive price. And she's shocked, right? She says, "But it only took you a minute." And this was his famous comeback. The value wasn't in the seconds it took to put ink on paper, it was in the decades of work it took to master his craft. So where did all that learning begin? Well, for Picasso, it started almost from the day he was born. He wasn't just a good artist. He was a prodigy in the absolute truest sense of the word.
Just look at how fast he developed. At an age when most of us are just trying to figure out algebra, Picasso was already mastering these huge, complex academic paintings. He then basically blew through Spain's top art school, deciding it was too rigid for him. And by 19, he's in Paris, the center of the art universe, totally ready to start his own revolution.
And get this really shows you the level of talent we're talking about. Can you imagine being so gifted that your own father, who's an art teacher himself, just looks at your work and decides his own career is over? He literally handed Picasso his brushes and vowed never to paint again. That's the kind of unbelievable prodigy he was.
But, raw talent can only get you so far. The kind of art that really gets into your soul, that often comes from some deep, profound emotion. And for Picasso, a personal tragedy would soon plunge his entire world and his canvases into a deep, haunting blue.
After his very close friend Carlos Casagemas died by suicide, a totally devastated Picasso began to paint almost exclusively in shades of blue. This wasn't some stylistic choice, it was an emotional necessity. For about 3 years, his art just became this pure reflection of his grief.
And when you look at a painting from his blue period, you can just feel it. The color itself tells the whole story. The sadness, the cold, that feeling of isolation. He was channeling his own personal pain into a universal language of sorrow that we can all understand. So during this time, his focus really shifted to people on the fringes of society. Beggars, prisoners, people who are blind. He was painting themes like poverty and loneliness. He wasn't just painting his own sadness anymore. He was painting the shared despair of the human condition, giving a powerful voice to people who didn't have one.
Now, after he emerged from that period of grief, Picasso's creativity just exploded. He went on to basically shatter centuries of art tradition by inventing Cubism, taking reality apart and putting it back together in this new abstract way. And that revolutionary spirit, that idea of art as a force for change, well, it was about to find its most powerful expression. For Picasso, art was becoming a weapon.
And this is so crucial to understanding him. Picasso genuinely believed that art could be a tool for protest. He knew that one powerful image could scream louder than 1,000 speeches and fight harder than a battalion of soldiers. And he was about to create what might be the most powerful artistic statement of the entire century.
And here it is, Guernica. It is this massive, gut-wrenching response to the horrific bombing of a Basque town during the Spanish Civil War. The painting itself is pure chaos and suffering. It's like a raw, primal scream against the sheer brutality of war captured on canvas.
And the journey of this painting is just as powerful as the image. It started as a reaction to one specific, horrific event. Then it became a direct political statement against fascism, and then it toured the world, eventually becoming this enduring, universal symbol for peace that still resonates so strongly today.
So, we've seen the prodigy, we've seen the grieving artist and the political activist, but what about the man himself? Who was he? Well, behind the myth was this person with a wicked sense of humor, incredible self-belief, and an absolutely mind-boggling work ethic.
You have to love the confidence in this quote, right? It speaks to this incredible sense of destiny. He wasn't just picking a job, he felt he was born to play this role, to create a category that was all his own. He became Picasso. And his output, it was just unbelievable. Over his long life, he created more than 1,900 paintings. Just let that sink in for a second.
For most artists, that alone would be a legendary career.
But that was just the paintings. He also produced around 12,000 drawings. The sheer volume is almost impossible to wrap your head around. He was just constantly creating, constantly exploring, constantly reinventing himself.
And all that constant creation led to some incredible, lasting value. Back in 2015, his painting Women of Algiers sold for a whopping $179 million. It's this powerful reminder of how the world came to value those 70 years of learning that he talked about all those years ago.
So, how do you even begin to sum up a life like that? A life that spanned almost 100 years and completely changed the course of art forever? Well, I think you do it by realizing that some legacies, they just never fade. Picasso lived this long, extraordinary life, passing away at 91. But people like Picasso don't ever truly die. Every time someone stands in front of Guernica and feels that chill run down their spine, or looks at a blue period painting and feels that ache of sadness, he lives on. Through his work, he really did achieve immortality.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought from the man himself. He believed creativity is something we're all born with. The real trick is figuring out how to hold on to it as we get older. His entire life was a testament to that idea. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What will your masterpiece be?